was so official. Okay, if you guys have team members that are on here, you might want to post or message them or whatever you do to communicate, so they will hop on. My name is Tiffany Smith. I'm a diamond with the Young Living. We have several cross lines here. Introduce yourself.
I am Gina Lichtenberger. I'm a diamond, and Essential Families is my team. And we've got Amber and Nate. You want to introduce yourselves?
Amber and
Nate.
I thought he would say his name. And we're diamonds, and we live in Delaware. And see a bunch of our team here.
Okay. So before we start, we're going to give you a little tip we learned about oils, which is why we're sniffing our cups. So Amber can hold up. We were given by Deborah Rayburn these little teacups, and they said that the last time they were with Gary on the farm, he talked about using your oils to shift your emotions, and that when you apply them to your body, that your body mixes with them, and it can change some of the dynamics of the oil for emotional reasons. But if you're just smelling straight out of the bottle, you're only getting the lighter chemistry of it, and the deeper, heavier chemistry is staying in the bottle. So he recommended for an emotional shift to put it in something neutral, like a cup, a teacup, or a coffee cup, obviously, and smell from there. And if you guys do this, you will notice that it actually does smell a lot different than it does smelling it out of the bottle. So that was just a fun little bonus lesson we got. So the reason we're here is our World Calm Diamonds, Deborah Rayburn and Sarah Johnson. You guys are all somewhere on their line, whether you're under Gina or me. They decided to have a Better Together meeting last week, I think, in Houston for the diamonds and above. So 30 different diamonds just on their team, and Crown Diamonds and World Calm Diamonds gathered together. And so we just want to bring back to you, I think all of us it's been a hard year. There's been a lot of transitions, a lot of changes, a little bit of drama happening. And so, but more than that, we just gain so much when we're together. I just learned so much at the table of like, well, I use this for this, and this happened, and we use this. And anyone who's ever been to a convention or any type of meeting knows just how powerful it is together with like-minded people who have the same purpose, the same love for Young Living and the oils and the products. We learned so much from the testimonies. And so getting together and just being in that community again after a hard year of us not having community was just so powerful and so wonderful. But then we just also got tons of really great information. And the main information we had, and you guys need to understand, like, Deborah and Sarah and Karen, they've been with Young Living through the thick and the thin for a really long time. And, you know, what we just heard over and over again was this is just a season, and it's a season to bigger growth and bigger things. And the people that hang in and the people that really can change the mindset and stick with it and are going to have huge, huge results. And we just heard so much hope. So much hope was poured into us from people that are at corporate constantly, who have cell phones of Mary Young, who talk to people and are like, the core and the root and the love of Young Living is still there. And just really helping us refocus that this is just a season, that some of these hardships that have happened are just some growing pains, and reminding us why we all got in this. At least for me, I did not get into this to build a business. I didn't get into this for any other reason than essential oils completely changed my family's health and life, and I could not tell people about it. And I still feel that way. And I know it can be a pain when I'm having to log back into a website 4 times to help somebody order something, but I know that thing that I'm trying to help them get ordered can literally change their life. And when I stay with that focus, then I don't care how long it takes me, because my focus is to help other people. And that is really what this meeting was. It's why we all gathered in Houston, and also to just share ideas, what's been working for us, how in this season of Zoom and shutdowns, we've been able to continue to share and to pivot, which is really what this is. It's a time of pivoting, honestly pivoting back to the basics of what we learned in the beginning. And so we just were so fired up and to just get to be together, and we really wanted to just have a time to share with you. We wish all of you guys could have been there, and there are some plans to make an event where you can be there by Deborah Rayburn, and you guys don't want to miss her. She's incredible, and her knowledge is unmatched. She's a naturopath, master herbalist. Like, she literally knows everything. She's an author, Gentle Babies, like, she knows so much. And so if you ever have a chance to get to her and hear her or speak with her, you need to do it. Like, she has so much valuable health and wellness information. So that's why we're here. We're just going to kind of go through what we learned.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the importance of customer support, customer service. So we found out last week, maybe over the last 2 weeks, really, just how important it is that we take care of our customers. Young Living historically has been great at customer service. Over the last year, we have seen, we've all had some challenges, and especially over the last month, probably the last couple of weeks with the website. So it was actually, at first it was a huge, what are we going to do? How are we going to deal with this? But then whenever those of us who are diamonds and above, we have something called Diamond Support. And I don't know if you guys know that, but that's one of the bonuses of getting to a diamond, is that we have someone that we can talk to most of the time. We have text, we have phone numbers, we have email addresses. We can get to people above the regular customer service line. And so if you guys ever have any kind of issues, that's one thing. I don't know if I mean, maybe Amber and Tiffany and Nate, maybe you guys have all done a great job of communicating this. I don't know that if I've always done a great job of communicating this, but I want you guys to know that's something that your diamonds are there for. That's one of the reasons why the compensation plan gives us such an amazing compensation. We get paid really, really well. And one of the things that we're called to do is just to provide excellent customer service. So this was a time whenever we were called to do that. And over the last couple of weeks, we were there, and we're always there for you if you need it. If you can't get your issue solved, we're always there for you. But we had to talk to people. We had to talk to more people than we've talked to probably in a couple of years. At least I did. I don't know about you. Did you? Did you, Amber? I talked to more people. It was actually very refreshing. And that's my point about this, the customer support thing. We can get up in, this is not my job title. This is not what, my job description. I didn't do this so that I could be a customer service rep or whatever. People can have that attitude if you want, but you can also think about it like Tiffany said, you're helping to get these life-changing products into people's hands. You're literally helping to change their lives, and they are human beings on the other end of the line, and you have the awesome privilege to help them. And so one good thing about the last couple of weeks is that I was able to talk to so many people that I have not ever met. A lot of people reconnect with, people that I hadn't talked to in a long time, but then there are a lot of people that I had never met who reached out to me for the first time and said, can you please help me with this? And I was able to talk to them, and I was able to learn about their life and learn about how important their products were and why, it was so important that they got this particular product. Just getting back into people's lives. It was such an honor. And it really helped me to feel okay, while we all kind of had a little bit of a panic moment because of the website issues and everything, maybe this was a blessing in disguise, because it really gave us the opportunity to reconnect with so many people. Even leaders that I hadn't talked to in a long time. So that's our job. And the thing is it's temporary. Some of the hard, hours of conversations and emailing back and forth, some of the stuff that really is time consuming, still not very much fun, but it's temporary. It's all temporary. All of this stuff is going to be worked out. The kinks are going to be worked out really, really soon. And then we won't have to do all of that stuff. But if we're already in the habit of providing excellent customer service, then when we don't have to do all that hard stuff, then we just get to do the fun stuff, which is helping people discover what their unique health needs are and helping them find solutions for their health needs and their homes, like helping to get their homes to be toxin free, all that kind of fun stuff. And then they'll already trust us because they know she was there with me whenever I could not get my order to process and I was on the phone for 4 hours. Like, she helped me to get that thing done. I trust her. I'm going to go to her whenever I have any kind of issues. And so we just really need to reframe the way that we look kind of at customer service and customer support. That's one thing that I've always thought about Young Living, that I've been thankful for, that we didn't have to do a lot of it. But then also in the back of my mind, I've always wondered, because my friends that are in different network marketing companies, like it seems like their job has a lot more customer service. My Arbonne girl, for example, like she just does so much more customer service than we've ever had to do. And yet that has helped me to have a relationship with her. And so we need to kind of get back to that. So this is providing us an opportunity to do that. And the better you are at customer service, like the more that you embrace it, the more that you see it as customer support and just as really like providing, this awesome service to people and being a friend to them and being like their go-to guru, then the more that that's going to build your relationship, the more that's going to grow your business, like all the way across the board. So we got to get comfortable with that, guys. And then the whole reason why customer service has been a big issue over the past couple of weeks is the website. So I'm going to get into that a little bit because I know a lot of you guys have some questions about like, what about all this website mess? So John Kreitz, I don't know if you guys know who Courtney Kreitz is. She is the Royal Crown Diamond who is on top of the Baby Steps team, isn't it? Baby Steps. Mm-hmm. They're incredible. They also wrote the Life Steps app. They're a powerhouse couple. But John Kreitz is an IT executive. He's been doing it for over 20 years. And he's worked with Facebook. He's worked with so many different startup companies and he's developed apps. He's done all kinds of stuff. So he popped into our Diamond group just to give his perspective on the website change, because all of us have some serious, not all of us, but a lot of us, especially if we've been around for a while, have some serious history with dealing with website issues with sales and different things and the website crashing. So now anytime anything happens, it's like we're triggered. Like when the smallest thing happens, we're like, oh, here we go again. Like we just freak out and then we just lose it. So he brought some really good perspective to us. And I was very appreciative to hear it. So here's some things they said. I just took some notes. He says that with all of his experience, he's super impressed with the launch and how everything went. He said that in his opinion, the launch was super successful, even though it's had glitches and things like that. It wasn't down for days. He said most companies that he's worked with who've done the caliber of website changeover like that Young Living has done have been down for days. Like it's been like at least a day or days. He said that yes, there are problems, but they're working them out and they're very small problems compared to like the problems that he has seen with all the different companies that he's worked with. And I think this is important perspective for us to hear because most of us are not in IT. Maybe some of you are or were, or maybe some of your spouses were or are. So maybe you know all of this stuff, but it was new to me because I was just like you guys, like, I can't believe we're doing this again. I can't believe we're dealing with this. But he said he's super confident in the new IT team. It took him a while to get the right people in there, but that he believes that these are the right people, that they're doing the right things, that the changes that they're making are changes that he has seen all along that needed to be made and he's been suggesting, and he sees that they're actually implementing the changes. They're making it happen. He said they're actually operating like $1 billion company's IT team for the first time in the history of as long as like he's been with Young Living. This is the first time that he's seen them actually operate like $1 billion IT team. He says the days of frustration are behind us. Like we might have little hiccups and glitches, but like we can really look forward with hope and just believe that things are like that there are good things to come. It's going to lead us into a huge season of growth. That's one thing that he was really super excited about was just all of the changes that they have made, everything they've implemented, all the things that this website is capable of doing that the last one wasn't. He really believes it's going to be a catalyst, like a huge catalyst for growth. Young Living again, and that we'll see another season of growth because of this website once everything's working the way it's supposed to. I already said that. The old system had so many limitations and this one does not. And he also reminded us that this IT team inherited like so many problems. They inherited a horrible situation, and they were doing an incredible job of getting us to where we need to be, and that we're on the right track, and that we need to keep looking at the big picture instead of every time when something small happens, like flipping out and losing our minds about it. We just need to think, okay, we're on the right track. The big picture, what are the good things? Let's focus on all the good things that are happening. And the other thing about IT, I think this is another point that we were going to talk about, but I'll mention it right now, is that while we're having these glitches, just bring it back to customer service. Like, if we have to do things for our people, like even if we have to get all of their information, like what's your member number, what's your PIN, what did you want to order, like what do you, just all, if doing all that, just taking notes, just writing it all down and calling in and doing it for them. Or if you can't do that, if you can't get on the phone, calling your nearest Diamond and saying, hey, this person's trying to do this. I can't figure out how to do it. The website's not cooperating with me. Just either you doing it or forwarding it to someone above you who maybe can get a hold of someone quicker. That's what we need to do right now. So it's more, even signing people up. There were 2 people last week that I had the privilege of helping to sign up for the first time and placing large orders. Both of them had really big issues. And it came down to me saying, tell me exactly what you want. One of them, we ended up figuring it out. But the other one, I had to just say, tell me exactly every single thing you want. Give me all of your information, including address, credit card, like all of the stuff. Thankfully, she was willing to do that. And so I just did it for her. And I know that's not ideal, but like I said before, it's totally temporary, and that's something that we can do for our people, and we're not going to have to always do that. So it's just a temporary thing, and we do have to look at the big picture. How awesome is it that we have people signing up now with, it was such a great feeling to help someone sign up with like a $346 order of, she didn't get a starter kit. Like she got like all the different things that she needed, that she felt she needed. We love the starter kit. I still think the starter kit's the best thing to do, but it felt so good to be able to just be like, what do you need for this or that, and help her build her order and sign up for the first time without having to do the starter kit on top of it. So anyways, hopeful. All of this is hopeful to me.
It's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to talk about back to the basics. So we went through and everyone kind of shared like, what do you think's going on? What's happening? What's going on? And what everyone's main conclusion is that people are not sharing personal product testimonies. I think there's been different fear about this. I think, there's a ton of reasons it's not happening, but people are coming to you because they trust you, and you can present tons of science to them and they don't care. What they care about is your kid stop screaming when you put inner child in front of their nose. That's all they care about. Then they'll try it, right? And the more and more we talk about our stories. So I see people doing this all the time. They're posting, and I'm guilty of it too, posting, I'm drinking my Ninja Red, I'm drinking my Ninja Red. Guess what? 90% of people that saw that post have no clue what Ninja Red is, what it does for you, or why you're drinking it. They're like, oh, she's having a cocktail at 10 in the morning. That's weird, and move on, right? They don't even know what it is. And so getting back to the basics, we are a product-driven company. That's what sets us apart from any other company. We should share the business, yes, but ultimately the majority of people that come in and stay with this business are in it because these products are life-changing and they change other people's lives. And so getting back to sharing your personal story, what is your story? Remembering what it is. Always having a wellness protocol in front of you. What wellness are you working on right now? Because if you're not working on something new in yourself, if you want to lead by example. And leading by example is, in the next 90 days, I'm going to work on my lymphatic system. Or the next 90 days, I'm going to heal my gut. And this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to read about that. I'm going to learn about that. I'm going to do my protocol. I'm going to share it. I'm going to tell people, you know what? I used to not be able to eat that, and now I can. I healed my gut. I used to have really bad acid reflux, and then I started using alkaline, and 5 days into it, I haven't had acid reflux anymore. These are the things that we need to be sharing with people, because people are desperate for this. Guys, we're in a sick world, like not just the thing going on, like people are sick. They're not getting the nutrients and what they need, and they need what we have. And so diving back into the products, what works for you? I couldn't sleep, I used this, and now I can. And using those stories, like one story she shared was Deborah said she had a neighbor that had a child with Down syndrome, and they were about 2 or 3, and that neighbor's kid couldn't speak at all, like not even just sentences, could not speak and could not like go to the bathroom and stuff. And she just said, hope, he needs hope. He's feeling hopeless. And so she just told the mom, here's some hope oil, just have him smell it every day. And within 2 weeks of that little boy smelling hope oil, he was going to the bathroom on his own and speaking in full sentences. Do you know what I wrote down in my notes? I didn't write all that down. What I wrote was, buy hope oil tonight, underlined, right? Because I hadn't heard that. I was like, I don't have hope on my shelf. I need some hope oil. That's phenomenal. What if I have somebody comes up to me that needs it? I want to have it to share with them in the same regard, right? And I didn't forget the story, right? I mean, she could have told me the entire science of hope, and I might or might not have remembered it, but that story had a massive impact on me that I immediately went that night and put it in my car, right? This is what we need to be doing. We need to be doing it with our teams and your groups that you have, and your Instagram accounts you have, in person or on Zoom. You need to be doing it in your uplines group. We all welcome you. If you're on my team, post, please. I welcome you. They want to hear from more people than just me, I promise. And your testimony and story is not going to be the same as mine. And so get in there and share it. Hey, I use this and this is what's happening. My inflammation is way down because I'm using golden turmeric. Whatever it is, share it. I also have said this for a long time, but they just reiterated this. Our entire business could be built on just 3 to 5 products we have. We have the most phenomenal products there are. Like Ninja Red, Master Formula, our Sulfurzyme, completely unmatched products. There is not one thing and anywhere, and I look, you guys, it's just part of who I am. There is not one thing anywhere that even remotely compares to those products at all.
Wait, what did you say? Ninja Red, Sulfurzyme?
Ninja Red, Sulfurzyme, and Master Formula. You could build a business just on those 3 products. You could probably build it on 1. If you would just learn about it and teach it and use it and share your stories about it. You wouldn't even have to dip into oils, though they're phenomenal and they're part of what makes the other products great. But I think you get what I'm saying. So that was another thing they recommended. Focus on 3 to 5 products, your top 3 to 5 products, and just teach, 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 teach. Teach anyone that will listen. Share with anyone that will listen. Explain to anybody that will listen. What is it that's really making a difference in your life? Use that. Learn about that and start sharing that. And the same thing with the business is we get super weird, or at least I have, about sharing the business, but the business has changed my life as well. And so just getting back to that, how has the business changed my life? A million ways. We went around that room and people shared things about how they splurged, and what was the most compelling to me was the main thing that got me in tears was people splurging on getting to have dental work done, on getting to do these things that are just general health that they should be able to have and they couldn't afford, or getting to, you know, get their parents' dental work done, or get something their kid needed. It was just so powerful me to hear that, like, they were like so down and out, they couldn't afford a dentist, and then they got to go, and dentist work is expensive, but they got to go do all of this from this business. I think sometimes we glamorize it, but it's like, y'all, people need this business now more than ever, and they need to hear your story about it. And if you're sitting there like, well, I'm not a diamond, I haven't made this, have you ever made enough to cover your order? then you have a story to tell. You have a testimony of the product of the business. And so that's the same way you need to be sharing that, is just sharing how it's changed your life in a very authentic, genuine way. Anything else? I was just looking. Okay, one thing they recommended, which I thought was good, was to run a report on your top product. We now have that in your group, that you can run a report on the top product being sold. And they were like, if that's lavender, then you know you need to be talking about the supplements more. Supplements are our bread and butter. And like I said, they're unmatched, and you need, and it can be overwhelming because we have 600 products. And I think that's my point, is like, master formula. You guys, if you weren't on it, we had a class by Dr. Purser. He talked about master formula. Everybody I know that was on that call is now using master formula. He explained it in such a way that we are all like, I will never be without this again. He said, use it every day for 100 days and see. I mean, there's huge testimonies of hormones being completely leveled out, like thyroid levels being leveled out, people's energy levels being better, just from that one class and getting the information on that. So find out what your top product is and start to talk about other things in other ways. And like I said, do it in person classes, do it on Zoom classes. When I did, like Deborah said, and I thought this was compelling too. Sarah Johnson, she's Royal Crown Diamond. She was like, I've been traveling around, and like at this place, I had 4 people in my class. At this place, I had 2 people in my class. And I think, you guys, it's just important to know that we don't have 100 people show up to a class just because we're a diamond or a Royal Crown Diamond, but they don't care. They're like, that's why they've gotten to where they are, because they care about the 2 in front of them, and they know that those 2 are the 2 they need to focus on. And so they'll have a class for anybody that will come. And it may be 2 and it may be 40. You know, she had both, but that doesn't even phase them. Deborah Rayburn said she had done a deep dive class on women's hormones with one of her legs, and they had 10 women on it. And she said those 10 women we did for 3 weeks, and we dove in really, really deep into how to do women's health and how to change things. She was like, the OGB on that whole leg, it really, really grew because those women started having testimonies and telling other people and sharing with their friends who are having hot flashes and they're not anymore. And it's just a natural progression, right? When you start to feel better. So just really, really focusing on that. And then just making sure that you're taking care of your loyal members. I think sometimes we focus on those 0 PVs, but making sure that those people that are on subscribe to save know that what they need to order. Ask them if they need help picking things. What are your health goals right now? What are you working on? And just making sure that you are just really honoring them for being loyal customers, which Young Living's been doing a really great job of as well with the loyalty rewards.
One of those ways that you can do that, I know I had talked about, Gina and I talked about this, is you can run a report. Are you guys familiar with the report tab in your, if you do have a team, there's a report tab in your virtual office where you can run a report for what people are on ER, and then you can sort it by what the amounts are. And that's a really good report to do every week, at the beginning of every week, every couple of days. And there is a functionality to where you can have that auto emailed to you. But run a report to see what their ER amount is. And I caught a bunch of, when I was really like deep in the thick of things with ER, subscribe to save, whatever we're calling it these days, to see what levels they're at. I was running an order for someone who had had a credit card decline, and she was at 178, which means she was $12 away from, I think that level last month was like 3 products that totaled, I don't know, it was like upwards of at least $50 to $70 that she was missing out on. So I was like, hey, do you want to throw a bottle of Thieves Vitality or a bottle of peppermint on there, especially with the promo that was going on, the monthly, the Thieves and the peppermint thing that was going on. And she was like, oh, sure. You know, why don't you add Thieves and Peppermint, it made her order skyrocket. Like I think it ended up being like 230 was her OGB. Just from that simple, like, hey, you're going to miss out on a promo. And some people might feel like, oh, that feels cringy. Like, oh, I'm asking them to buy more. But what you're doing is helping them earn more and get more free products, especially last month. I mean, every month, the promos, the gifts with purchase are amazing. Last month, there was a supplement on there. Like that friend got a bottle of or a box of Unwind. If her kids get on that and end up loving it, or she ends up loving it, she's going to order that every single month. So just taking care of our people, the worst they can say, what's the worst that they can say? No. But they can also say, hey, my person is looking out for me and making sure I don't miss any good deals. So just a way to really help your people get a little extra attention and make sure they don't miss good stuff. So they talked also about confidence and clarity, how essential it is. And Nate's going to talk a little bit more about this, but Bill, Deborah Starkey's new husband, talked about the importance in certainty and in expressing and presenting ourselves as certain to our teams and to our customers and to our brand partners, and just showing them that we are certain in this company. And maybe you haven't felt super certain lately. I know I've had my moments of uncertainty. Find someone, if it's your upline support or your crossline, just a little someone to chat through those feelings of uncertainty, but present yourself as certain and as confident in this company. No one wants someone that is like, I'm not so sure about this company, but hey, make sure you get 250 on your ER order. We know that these products change lives and that have certainty. And maybe the website has felt a little uncertain to you. Maybe some leadership changes have been uncertain to you, but the one thing I know is leadership changes happen everywhere. Every company, everywhere we go, there's going to be leadership changes happening. I've been in Young Living 7.5 years, and there have been people that come and go. And usually what that does is it makes way for people that have fresh, new, exciting ideas. And so when my team comes to me and says, oh no, this staff member that I love left, and you know what? They went on to bigger and better things, or maybe they didn't. Maybe we have someone that's going to be bigger and better in that position, but don't be wishy-washy. Don't be scared of the future. This is a really amazing company, and Nate's going to talk a little bit more about that. But he talked about, hold on. The opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is uncertainty. So in our relationships and in our friendships, uncertainty can really go under the surface and really bubble up and scare people. So let's be confident and certain about this. And Tiffany talked about the 3 to 5 things that you are absolutely confident in. If you don't have those yet, if you don't have a story, then start trying those. If you're on this call, I imagine that you probably have 3 to 5 things that you absolutely love. Focus on those, share about those, if you're on Instagram, make a, what are those little story things at the top of your things? Make one for each product where you can share about that, how it's changed your life, how it's helped your family. I know I have handfuls of those, but I know that I need to zero in on those a little bit more. So that was an encouragement to me. If you have struggled with sharing lately, if you have been a little wishy-washy on sharing or taken a break, now is the time to jump back in and be consistent. And it's okay. It's okay. We all have those times where we've taken a break on sharing. I'm not like a huge sharer online. I'm consistently sharing with people that I'm around and with, but I do consistently share. I might not share every single day, but just be careful about like all of a sudden it's everything you're writing about and then it's nothing you're writing about. Be consistent. And if it's once or twice a month, be consistent in that once or twice a month. Be consistent with your team so that they know you're there and that you're still loving and sharing about your oils. Okay. Next, we're going to jump to recognition. And this is something that Young Living has struggled with. And I think they've gone through quite a few leadership changes in recognition. And I think it is, they talked about this at the retreat, how I'm looking for, not the retreat, the little, yeah, I guess it was a little retreat, but hold on. There was, what was the quote about? Oh, people will work harder for recognition than they will for money, which was a really profound thought for me, because I am one of those people that I will probably work more for recognition than for my paycheck. So thinking about that, of people in my
But we could use the paycheck.
organization, how I can recognize them when ranks maybe aren't the most, couple years ago, it was ranks, ranks, ranks. Let's recognize those ranks. Right now, what are things that you can recognize in your team that's happening right now? I can think of two things: recognizing new customers. They signed up a new customer. Yes, first time enrollments are,
Like there's no reason to be doing what you're doing right now.
if you don't
Lay
have your
down, get that
have
blanket and lay down.
muted, please mute your thing. I think Gina can do that. But recognizing every new enrollment and new brand partners. Thank you, Melissa Schultz. Took the words right out of my mouth, right off my page. But sending a simple text. We have, can you close that? It's distracting for me. We have abilities through, while Insights, Oily Tools is going away, but those are ways that we can just send them a simple text. We can have a running thing going in your brand partner group. If you have one of those, if you don't, just a simple text just to say, hey, I saw you signed someone new. What if they aren't? That was the other thing. Like, what if they aren't on your first level? And Gina and I were talking about this. What if it's someone like 5 levels down? What if they heard from 5 people in their upline? Hey, I saw you. I'm so excited for you. What if they don't know you? The other thing you can say is, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm I'm on your team or in your organization, and I know your enroller. If you know their enroller, just so that they don't feel weirded out that they're hearing from someone that they don't know. And I just wanted to tell you that I saw that you had your first enrollment and how exciting that is. Congratulations. Let me know how I can help you in any way. Or even Deborah said, asking open-ended questions. Is there, what else do you need help with today to help that customer or that brand partner get going? Open-ended questions are great. That way they have a way to respond and create dialogue and community with you. So if you guys, I've seen a couple comments, but if you can think of other ways to recognize people on our teams, being part of your uplines Facebook group is really helpful, answering questions for those new people, just so that they can see another face contributing to that, and maybe different ideas, new, fresh ideas or suggestions for an issue. So, Gina, do you want to talk about the executives and below thing, or did you want to talk about that?
Sure. So real quick, I just wanted to mention, you know how things changed a little bit. The comp plan didn't change, but just the structure changed a little bit. And so like with executives and below now, you don't have to technically place an order as long as you have someone, as long as you have 100 CV ordering under you, you can still get paid. So we have seen a lot of, we haven't, but company-wide, I mean, I haven't really actually looked at it. I need to look at it, but company-wide, they have seen a lot of people who are executives and below just being like, okay, well, I'm not going to order this month, or I'm going to, hardly order anything. Well, that's fine. I mean, if you want to do that, but if you're really trying to build a business, then the truth of the matter is you have to be ordering products and you have to be using them, because you have to be building testimonies. And so it's really not a great idea. I mean, the thing that we talked about over and over is if you have a family, I mean, even if there's just two of you, like you are probably needing to order at least $100 a month if you are truly switching things over and you're truly addressing health issues and trying to create a non-toxic environment. Like hopefully you have ditched and switched and you have your transfer buying, which just means things that you normally bought from Whole Foods or Target or whatever you're buying from Young Living. So there's got to be at least $100 worth, and it's a good practice to get in. Number one, you need to be in that practice because if you're silver or above, you still have to have that 100 PV. And number two, you have to set a great example for your people, and you have to be a product of the product. And there's no way your health can be transformed or that you have these testimonies if you're not ordering them. So we would just encourage you, if you're doing this as a business, then to make it a priority, to continue to make that 100 CV commitment for that. And then we're gonna hear, I'm so excited that we had Nate join us, and we're gonna hear from Nate now.
That's a lot of pressure, Gina, but so it was really great to be with these people down in Houston. Some of the people I knew, a few of the people I knew anecdotally, because they're like superstars at Young Living. And I made some new friends as well. And I had kind of three things I thought I'd share here tonight, and I'll try not to stray too much from them. One of the first things I want to talk about is they mentioned this he. I'm also noticing this camera, my ears stick out, but this one seems to be sticking out way more than the other one. So I think it's just the camera angle. There's got to be an oil for that. Sorry. Anyways, we talked about this gentleman, Bill, that was talking. And so real quick about Bill. Bill is Deborah Starkey's husband.
New husband.
Well, new husband. She doesn't change them often. But her last one passed away some time ago, and she's newly married. And for those of you that know Deborah, it's super exciting for her to be remarried. So she is a awesome lady, full of love. She's really smart. When she talks with confidence, and she's also very kind. So everyone was very excited for her to meet Bill. And I think a lot of people wondered, I don't know if you can find a man that will be a great fit for her. So she's such a firecracker. And coincidentally, without going into a long story, she married this guy named Bill Starkey. They dated for I think a couple of weeks or something.
50 days.
50 days. That's pretty quick. So Bill Starkey actually was an Amway superstar back in the 80s, a while ago, when he was in his late 20s. He was doing $1 billion in revenue. Just one guy. His business was doing $1 billion. So he retired when he was in his late 20s and was basically filthy rich after that. So as a result, people just don't usually retire that are that strongly motivated. He did a bunch of other MLMs, did some other traditional businesses. Now he claims he's really retired, but I think he's lying. So he, is now married to Deborah. And it's funny because Deborah's an RCD. She's very well compensated. She works very hard. And he mentioned talking to Deborah, I think it was after they were engaged. He's like, we should probably talk finances. And he was shocked to learn how much she made. And then he's got really interested in Young Living. So what he did was he made it a very objective comparison of Young Living to other network marketing companies, because he knows a lot of them well. He's written a lot of the comp plans for many of them. He's been involved consulting with a lot of MLMs, some very successful, some not so much, just kind of how it goes. And there were four things that Bill came back with. He said there are four things that blew him away about Young Living. The first thing he said was the retention rates at Young Living were higher than any other company he's seen for network marketing. So retention rates are people that sign on. They, we'd say from the outside, they drink the Kool-Aid, right? They're interested in what's going on and they're in. So those retention rates were higher than any he'd seen. So we know sometimes still people come and go and it happens. But can you imagine if you were working for a network marketing company and you were seeing 3 times the loss you see now? I mean, how about 5 times or 10 times? Because that's what's really normal with network marketing. The second thing he mentioned was longevity and consistency within the company. So it may not feel like it right at the moment. You've heard a lot of big names at Young Living that have left recently. And, it sounds controversial and scandalous. And what are they doing? And everyone wants to know, which is exactly what they want you to think. But, it's kind of like watching the news, The news wants to hit you with things to make headlines. They want you to get some stuff that's exciting, a little controversial, makes you think, makes you want more. They're not talking about Billy getting his Eagle Scout award. There are a million Billies every year that get Eagle Scout award, and they're not talking about that, right? So it's like we say at work, you got 2% of the people making 90% of the noise, right? And then, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and on and on and on. So yeah, there are certainly some folks that have left Young Living recently, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But overall, the longevity and consistency in the company, all the way from at corporate, from the leaders, the top level leadership, all the way down to leaders amongst, the distribution ranks, I guess you would say.
Customer ranks.
Customer ranks. There you go. My wife will keep me in check, I promise you. So the third thing was, and I mentioned this briefly, remarkable compensation. So Young Living takes care of their people very well. For the amount of volume that you sell per dollar, you're making out like bandits. And that's not a bad thing. Gary Young always said, good money in the hands of good people does good things, right? It's a good tagline. Harkins, I think you're writing it down. I hope you are. So, but it's true, right? So good people are going to do good things with that money. So you might as well make sure that those are the people that have it. So, and most importantly, the last thing that Bill said, he said the quality of the products is untouchable. He said you can't touch the quality of the products. They're so good. And we know this with the Seed to Seal promise. We know this when you use them. You know this when you compare to other products. It's unbelievable.
He was talking about the junk that he used to peddle.
Yeah.
and
He's like, I used to sell Amway cleaning products out of my garage. And he's like, it was crap. He's like, and people bought it. And then I built warehouses and sold warehouses of crap to people, and they bought it. So anyways, so while I'm mentioning that, I said about longevity and consistency and some people leaving. One of the things to bear in mind when some of these folks leave, and it kind of grinds against what Bill Starkey had to say here, was, what are these people leaving for that's so better than this, right? What are they leaving for? Are they leaving for that they don't think the products really work anymore? Are they leaving that they don't think they should be sharing these products anymore? Are they leaving because they think they're going to get a better deal somewhere else? In some cases, I think that's what they're thinking. I don't think they are. I think some people have made some very, very bad decisions that they're going to regret. And also bear in mind, there's policy and procedures within the company. So we're all contracted workers for Young Living. When we're selling, there are terms and conditions that go with that. And, you can look those up. You've agreed to them somewhere, you've pushed a button somewhere. And in big boy world, that means something, that means that if you're going to do business like an adult and you're going to make money like an adult, you got to follow the rules. So what does that mean for some of these people that leave? Well, it means that, they can't be recruiting people from Young Living for a certain period of time for the new product that they're selling. And if they don't follow that, there could be legal consequences. So, you hate to think of things as threats, but that's what we do for the privilege of having the business that we have. And that's standard across all businesses to a certain degree. So if you think you're recruited by someone that left, raise your hand, talk to your diamond or something. I don't know. I'm not involved with it. Someone else said those people are dead to me now. I don't know. I don't know that that's always the truth. It doesn't make people bad people that leave, but just that was my comment on that. So let's get back to more constructive things. The second thing that I took away was make sure you teach your teams to be part of the IT solution. So my favorite dad joke is, what they say about IT? IT is it. I guess you're all muted. I can't hear all the laughs that I'm sure are coming through, but IT is like another language. I'm not an IT guy. I actually interface with them pretty decent. Maybe it's my engineering background, but in IT world, everything is black and white. It's binary. It's ones and zeros, right? When you're dealing with IT people. So if you call an IT person, you say, I got a problem. When I push the button, it doesn't work. That's not helpful information to them. They're just going to be like, yeah, okay, well, what does it do? Well, it doesn't work. Well, what do you mean it doesn't work when you push the button? Which button are you pushing? Well, I'm pushing the button that says to push. you know, you can go on and on with this. The next thing you know, they're going to tell you to turn your computer off and on, and you're just frustrated, right? So be part of the IT solution, not just complaining about a problem. So what does that mean? It means if you're having an IT problem, and if you end up dealing with IT people directly, or even if you're talking to your diamond or someone in your upline that's going to help you with an IT problem, you need to be very specific about what the problem is, right? More than just saying it doesn't work when I push the button, you know, write down the exact actions you're taking and what happens when you do them or what doesn't happen when you do them. Even better than that, take screenshots of what you're seeing, right? If you say, hey, I keep getting this error message and you don't know what the error message is, that's not going to be very helpful to them, right? Or even better, my wife said, and I didn't even know you could do this, but take a screen recording. So for those of you that are savvy enough, you can say, when I click this button over in the corner here, here's what happens, and here's the video of it. So you can see exactly what I'm doing. Usually when they identify the problem with that much detail, it's a fairly quick fix, it's an easy fix, and it's a permanent fix. So you should never have that problem again. And you're not only fixing the problem for yourself, you're likely fixing the problem for others too. So, you know, what's Reba McEntire saying? Be a light in a world full of darkness, be a light, something like that. So it's a great song. Anyways, lastly, my last comment that I had was, I want to talk about passion. So a lot of you that are here are fairly passionate people. And I don't mean like passionate like a soap opera. I mean, like you're passionate about the things you do, and you're probably somewhat either passionate about Young Living or maybe more importantly about helping people through Young Living. And that's why you're here. So passion is great. Passion is contagious, but passion without a pathway is a cruel thing to do, right? You know, get a kid interested in sailboats and he gets all kinds of interested and then say, but I'm not going to really show you how to sail or show you how to get a boat, right? That's not cool. So the most powerful inspiration, I'm going to back up for a minute, that I ever heard at Young Living wasn't, you know, you could get this doohickey in the mail if you sell product, or you get a blanket, or you get some kind of recognition. Oh, I'm not talking down to my wife. We've got lots of Young Living blankets. Come on
I
over.
love the Young Living blankets.
They're very high quality blankets. The dog loves them too. So anyways, is this phrase that I've heard, I know I've heard Mary Young say it. I'm pretty sure I heard a previous CEO, Jared Turner, say it. I've heard a lot of people say it, and what they say, and I hope if you haven't heard this, take this to heart. They say, if you can make silver, you can make it to diamond, right? If you can make silver, you can make it to diamond. Well, why is that? Why is that so true? And it's so true because you have a good understanding of the products. You know how to build a team, you know how to connect with others, and you know how to be inspiring, right? And it also might be a bunch of other things. You might just be wicked smart like Carrie Todd and just know all the chemical reasonings and the ins and the outs of all of these things and can whip out a table of elements and say, this is why this works. You know, or you might just be like me and say, it smells really good and I like it. I'm pretty sure it's helpful. So, you know, these are the ways that you get to silver. And when you get to silver, you have the structure, you've got the discipline, you've got the know-how to go all the way to diamond, right? So what you're starting to do is you learn these things and you can really sit down and be introspective and say, how did I get to silver? Now I have all the tools to go higher, but how can I create a pathway for my team members to do this, right? So how can I partner up with someone and say, hey, you've got what it takes to go from senior star to executive to silver and keep on rolling. So you've got the passion, give them the pathway to get there. So use your talents and resources to show them how, not just tell them that they can, right? It's like I heard a comedian a while back talking about the Home Depot. You know, what's their big phrase? You can do it, we can help, right? And the guy's like, it's a total lie. He says, I go to the store, I buy all the things, I get the little book, how to put a new patio in. He's like, I get home, I look around, there's no one there to help me. He's like, there's no one there to help me. He says, I can't really do it. He says, but I paid for it. He said, so how often do you think I'm really going to go back and go to Home Depot and dive in again on a second project after my first one has failed, right? Home Depot got smart after a while. You see what they started to do? They started to have these classes at Home Depot, right? Say how to lay a patio in 3 easy steps, 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. Guess what? It's free. You get 5% off the products if you're going to build your own project. So don't just tell people they can do it, actually show them how and partner up with them. That's part of mentoring other people. That's part of team growth. So those are my big takeaways. It was really great to be with that group. Awesome to have a little trip with my wife as well, not gonna lie. And thanks for the opportunity to share with you all.
I have one other thing to add on to that is it was really, I know a lot of people maybe haven't been with other people in community with talking about oils. And I know I haven't quite as much in Dello. If you live in the Northeast, we've been a little more locked down. And it was just really refreshing to be with people and hear their stories again. I mean, we sat there one night with a couple that we hadn't really chatted with before and heard their stories of how they got going with Young Living. And it was like, oh, wow, I hadn't thought about that. Oh, man, I had plantar fasciitis too. Oh, what'd you use? What'd you do? And just how important that is, even at this level we've been in 7 years, just like how refreshing and comforting it was to hear those stories from people. So figure out a way to get together with your team and with your people. If you are more comfortable outside hanging out on your patio and spreading out, or whatever it is this coming season, just figure out a way to get together and keep sharing those stories, because your story may help someone else. It may not help that person, but they may have 5 other people on their team or in their family that are struggling with that. And we can just share more candidly, and you're just face to face. It's just really refreshing. And so just a little reminder as you head into end of summer and this fall, and as things heighten, just remember to keep sharing your stories. I know we talked about it on social media, but if you can in person too, it's really refreshing. So thank y'all.
Yes.
That was so good. Thank you guys. I'm going to close it up with one thing they said. One thing Bill said is, we all have down moments, but the longer that you are down, the harder it is to get back up. And obviously 2020 has been a time of down for all of us, not just business wise, personal life, in all areas of our lives. It's like we've been lethargic, honestly. A lot of people struggling with a lot of things, but I think for all those areas of our lives, that's true. The longer we stay down, the harder it is to get back up. And they had us smell and vision oil and talked about that, the Bible says where there's a lack of vision, the people will perish, and that it was time for a new and fresh vision, that this really was a new start and a time to have a new fresh vision. And so they encourage us to write what our new vision is. What is our vision? How many people do you want to help personally? What do you want from this business? Why are you doing it? Deborah talked about it first. She wrote down that she wanted 30 diamonds on her team, and that seemed insane. And there were 30 in that room, and only 1/3 of us were able to actually make it. She has like 90 diamonds on her team. And so I just really want to encourage you guys. I want to leave you with that, that you have the passion for this, or you want to be on there right now, and that your passion is contagious. But I just want to honor that it has been a hard season for all of us, not just for Young Living, just in general life. But it's time to start sharing our hope, and it's time to start sharing our passion, and it's time to get back to sharing these products that we know for a fact actually change brain chemistry to help people with hope and to help people with stress levels. And so I would just encourage you, just even right now as you log off, to write down like your vision. What is your vision for this? Who do you want to help on your team? What do you see in this? Why are you doing this? If you haven't vision oil, smell it. If you don't, find something else. Find hope or highest potential or believe oil. Wherever you're at, abundance. Use the oils, use the products we have to help you get out from that downward spiral and start to lift up. Because as we as leaders lift up, we're going to lift people up. And like we've all said, just being in a room with people passionate again, we were desperate for that community and honestly didn't even know it until we got there. It's like we had forgotten what it was like to be around people who were so passionate about helping other people and changing lives that it got us re-fired up again. And so if I could come to every one of your houses, we would, and we would encourage you. But I would just say, like right now, just really write down, like this is a new start. It's a fresh start. What is your new vision for this season, and where are you going with this?
That was good. Thank you guys so much. I'm so thankful for everyone who was on this call. I think at one point we had 100 people, which was the max, I think, for the call. So that's amazing. You guys are all incredible for being on here. I know there are a lot of people on my team that I've reached out to, or I've said, like, I'm getting ready to start this mentorship thing with whoever wants to do it with me. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look like, but we're all going to do it together and we're going to figure it out. One thing I would say is whether I am your diamond or not, like whether I'm on your team or not, you have someone on your team, even if it's the person that signed you up, you have someone who wants to hear that you want to plug back in. If you feel like you're alone and you are like, who am I going to do this with? I don't want to do it alone. I am that person who will not do things alone. I will not. I mean, Tiffany and I work together really well. She's a crossline. Like nothing we do benefits each other financially, but we get together and we plan everything together. Like, so find someone, whether it's a cross line or an upline, let them know. Someone will be so excited to hear you say, I'm ready to jump back in. I'm fired up. I'm going to do this. Or even if you're saying like, I don't know how to get fired up. I want to be, but I'm just not there yet. Like tell someone who you know is excited and they'll pull you up. I mean, she and I do it to each other all the time. So we just have to be strong for each other, especially in seasons like this. So thank you guys so much. Thank you. I'm so grateful for Amber and Nate and Tiffany. Nate, thank you so much. The part that you talked about was so incredible, especially coming from you, like the way that you broke it down and everything. I love hearing from you. So I'm so grateful. I'm so glad that you were there. Amber, thank you for sharing him with us.
All right, we want to end on time and honor your time. 8:02, we did it pretty well. So you guys have a good evening. We do have this recorded, so when it's done, we'll post it so you guys can share with your teams. Have a great evening, and we'll talk with you soon.
Bye.